Hello, I'm Harry Evans, a 23-year-old, and I suffered from binge eating disorder. Binge eating disorder for me was when you're completely out of control. You could sit down, eat a meal, whatever, have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your tea, and that'd be fine. Then a binge would hit. A binge hits and it suddenly takes over you. You want to raid all the cupboards. You want to eat whatever is in sight. You keep eating, and it completely takes control. You can't stop. You will feel guilty, ashamed, even possibly depressed after binge eating. And that's how you know you've got it. You won't be able to stop. You'll eat excessive amounts and keep going until you are completely stuffed. And that's when you know you've got binge eating disorder. Obviously, if this is a one-off, then it's not a disorder. You haven't got binge eating. I wouldn't worry about it. Everyone overeats every now and then. Obviously, I still overeat. Everyone loves overeating every now and then. No one loves binge eating. If you're doing this once a week, twice a week, I'd say 3 times a week, 4 times a week, every day, then yes, you have binge eating disorder. Did I know what binge eating disorder was? Not at all. That's why I'm making this video. I want to try and raise awareness for people who have binge eating disorder and completely stop the stigma around it. Obviously, I'm a 23-year-old male. I'm quite into the gym, as you can see, hopefully. And I was back then, obviously, when I had binge eating disorder, and I thought, yeah, I'm quite a healthy guy. I go to the gym 5-6 days a week. I'm bringing salads into work, I'm my protein shakes, yeah, whatever. Everyone's thinking, oh, look at this guy, he's so healthy. Little did they know, I was going home, binge eating everything in sight, feeling absolutely sick, ashamed of myself, and then not eating for like 2 or 3 days. Does that sound like the sign of health? I don't think so. So that's what I want to do. I want to raise awareness about binge eating disorder and hopefully help you stop this habit that comes over us. Now, a little bit about my story. So like I said, I'm into fitness. I like the weights, I like cardio, I like feeling good, I like eating healthy, and so on. So it was about 2017, and I had just finished school. Well, it's 2018, and I've been playing loads of football. I'd always played football all my life. As a young lad in the UK, we all play football, and we all love it. Unfortunately, wasn't good enough to make it, as most of us aren't. And I got into the gym. I thought, I'm going to play football anymore because I'm not good enough. So yeah, I'll go in the gym and I'll smash the weights. I want to get absolutely massive. That was my goal. Whatever. Oh, start training the weights. Yeah, put on a bit of muscle, so on. And then I was at this point, I was just eating whatever. Then suddenly, as you get more involved with it and so on, I was like, what's this counting calories thing? I downloaded MyFitnessPal. Now, I'm not here to stigmatise MyFitnessPal, and to this day, I still use MyFitnessPal. But for my binge eating, that was the worst thing I could have done. So it was in the January, just after Christmas, I downloaded MyFitnessPal and put in my calories, whatever. And as a young lad, obviously we all want a 6-pack and so on. I was never fat, ever. Never been fat. Well, I have a little bit with the binge eating, as I go on to. But at this point in time, I thought I was fat. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to cut. At the holidays of my glove coming up, fucking, who cares if you fucking got a 6-pack in my glove? Obviously, I did when I was an 18-year-old. And I started counting my calories. I went into a calorie deficit and I wanted to lose body fat to get a 6-pack. Yeah, whatever, I can do that. It's nice and easy. Just eat less, move more, count your calories, calorie deficit. Yeah, that's fine. I'll be able to do that as an 18-year-old. This is what I thought. Little did I know, I then I would start binge eating. Obviously, I was restricting my food to try and shred down. I then restricted so much, I got to about 1,300 calories. I was like, I need a cheat day. So I just eat everything in sight. And when I'm talking everything, literally breakfast, tea, whatever. It would just be complete and utter ridiculous amounts. And my mum and dad and so on, they'd be like, oh, how do you eat so much? Like a horse. Little did they know that's because I've been restricting all this time. And I was like, I feast. You know what I mean? I can start eating. So that's when I started. So I restricted my calories, and I was going on holiday. That's why I restricted my calories, and obviously I restricted them too low, and I completely binged. I got back from holiday. I binged on holiday as well, which obviously wasn't good. So I went on holiday. I'll always remember this as well. Obviously, you're on a lad's holiday, you go out drinking, whatever, you don't eat much food. Well, being me, I restricted myself all the way up until this holiday. It was then an all-you-could-eat breakfast, dinner. Obviously, all the lads usually too hungover to drink, so they would hardly eat anything. Me, I'd be like, oh yeah, all you can eat. I was like, fucking stuffing myself. 2, 3, 4 plates even. Everyone's like, Harry, what the hell are you doing, mate? But not even in a horrible way, like, what the hell are you doing? They're just like, you're eating a lot, aren't you? I'd be like, yeah, I'm hungry. Everyone would be like, oh yeah, he's a big lad and he likes the gym, so he must be doing that. Little did they know I was binge eating in front of them. So I was doing that on the holiday, and I'll always remember this one, like, I would be drinking, and I wouldn't be thinking about, oh yeah, go home with a girl or something, or, you know, even just, oh, I can't wait to go to bed. I'd be drinking and I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get a kebab. Oh, I can't wait to get some like biscuits or something. I'd be just addicted to food. I'd be addicted to thinking about food. Like, yeah, drinking, having a good time with mates, and then they'd be like, oh, do you want to go X, Y, Z? I'd be like, oh, no, I'll go back. Because I wanted to go back and scroll a load of audios. Honestly, it was a very messed up time, but I didn't even think it was weird. And you probably won't think it's weird. If you're in this stage now, you won't think it's weird. You may possibly now because you've clicked on this video, but don't worry, I didn't think it was weird. I didn't know this was a thing. So we got back on holiday, and obviously, for some mad reason, I thought, oh yeah, because I've had a week's holiday, I've put on so much fat, I've got to cut again. I don't know why I thought this, but you go through weird stages as an 18, 19-year-old getting into fitness. And obviously, I was developing binge eating disorder, so I was going through even weirder stages. I came back off holiday. I then went through the restriction binge cycle again. Up, down, up, down. I'd restrict, binge, restrict. Deeper this time. Binge, even bigger. Binge. This continued up until, I'd say, it was January 2020. Obviously, we all know what happened in 2020. I'll get onto that. I then got a coach in 2020 to try and help me with my diet and nutrition, because I thought I was yo-yoing. I wasn't yo-yoing, I was binging, but people call it yo-yoing. And I got a coach, and obviously I was like, oh, I want to lose weight, so on. Because of all my binge eating, I actually had put on a bit of fat at this point, and obviously later down the line I'll show you my transformation that I've done and so on, but I actually did get a little bit rounder. Not fat, but for me I'd put on quite a bit of weight. And people were saying, oh yeah, you're looking bigger, but it wasn't muscle, it was body fat. And so I got a coach and wanted to lose weight again. Obviously I was a serial dieter at this point, which is just ridiculous at the age of 20. And I got a coach, and little did he know, because I didn't say anything about binge eating. I just said, oh, I was restricting my calories too low and just want a bit of guidance and stuff. And so he was trying to help me lose weight as I asked him to. So he set me calories in a calorie deficit again. And at this point, I did start realising, this is a bit strange. And I'll always remember, it was at my grandma and granddad's house, and we used to go out for dinner on a Friday and just eat or whatever. And I got into the habit of always thinking about what I could eat after my meal. And that'll be a characteristic of binge eating. You'll start thinking, oh, what can I eat after this meal? Which is obviously a very strange thing to do. You should be enjoying that meal there and then in the present moment. But I wasn't. I was thinking, oh yeah, what can I eat after this meal? And so there was 2 instances. There was one, we finished our meal and I went back to my grandma and granddad's, and I just ate 4 packets of biscuits. Without them knowing, I was just going back and forth from the living room to the kitchen, getting packets of biscuits, but I was like eating them in increments of 4. So I was like, oh, do you want a biscuit? And I'll be like eating them and stuff, and I'll be like going in the fridge, looking in what's in there, a bit of chocolate, I'll eat that, and then suddenly have like a whole chocolate bar. And obviously I was stuffed driving home, and I was like, whatever, I was like, that was a bit excessive, but I must have just been hungry. Again, I didn't know what binge eating was at this point. And then it happened again. I remember we got back to my grandma and granddad's, I dropped them off, and then we'd had a meal out, I'm sure I had dessert, and then because I'd had dessert, and obviously I wasn't sticking to my calories, I then go to the shop, I bought 2 packets of biscuits and a packet of 4 cookies. I went back to my room, scrammed the lot, watched the TV show, and then that was my night. I fell asleep eating. And everyone thought I was like this sign of fitness, really nice, happy, healthy, outgoing lad. And I was doing that on Friday night after seeing his grandma and granddad. So I told my coach this, and he was like, oh, up your calories during the weekend. So eat less in the week and eat more of the weekend. Now, this would work for someone if they just want to cut and they want to go out of the weekend. Yeah, fair enough, whatever, lifestyle point. I wasn't one of them. I had binge eating disorder. He didn't know, I didn't know. So I then did this. I would eat so little in the week, so I would have a massive binge at the weekend. But then this became normal because I was doing it in my calories. Unfortunately, I wouldn't track my calories at the weekend. So it did just become a binge, and I just told my coach at the time, oh, sorry, I didn't track it, whatever. But I sort of like justified the binge then. So I'd eat so little in the week. I'd be like eating salads, and everyone at work would be like, oh, isn't Harry so good? He's eating salads. And like, when the cake had come into the office, I'd be like, oh no, don't eat cake, don't eat cake. But then at the weekend, on a Friday at 12 o'clock, I'd be eating a whole cake, never mind one piece. I wouldn't have one piece in the week. So it was very messed up. And then lockdown hit, and it got even worse. So like I say, I've been trying to lose a bit of weight. I'd lost a little bit, but then I ballooned back up in lockdown, as we all did. Obviously, I was stuck there in lockdown. And this is where I started to realise there was a concrete issue, and I discovered what binge eating was. The troubles I had in lockdown were I was not doing it in the week. So pre-lockdown, I was so strict in the week, and then during the weekend, I was able to just binge. I don't know why I'm doing that. It was a full-on binge. But in lockdown, I wasn't doing the week. Because every day felt like the weekend, didn't it? I was just doing that, binging every day. And my mum worked at a pub at the time, and so obviously they were short, and she came back with loads of food. I mean, loads. And it was like a big chocolate tray of brownie, and like Rocky Roads and so on, big tray, I swear. And I always remember it took me 2 days to eat the whole tray. Obviously, this was for a pub, you know what I mean? She brought home multiple of these, and she couldn't believe this. One, that's a bit strange. Like, I know, Harry, I know you've got an appetite, like, but the hell, mate. And so I was doing this every day during lockdown. I was like, this is strange. This is strange. So again, I was like, I don't want to live like this. I don't like the way it look. I'm not going to do this. So then I started dieting again. I dieted Monday to Friday. Saturday, I had a cheat day, which was a glorified binge day. And then Sunday, I wouldn't eat. Again, just how unhealthy is that? And I did this religiously for like 2 months, lost a load of weight, and I thought, because I've lost weight, this is healthy. Just because you lose weight while you're binge eating doesn't mean it's healthy, doesn't mean it's good. And I would feel awful on the Sunday. My stomach would be terrible. I wouldn't be able to get off the toilet. I would just be like walking around with stomach cramps. It was horrific. And like, it became a joke. My mum was like, oh, it's because you eat so well in the week, and then you eat so badly on the Saturday. And she thought I was just eating a cheat day, but it wasn't a cheat day. I wasn't just having like one meal. I wasn't having like a burger or a piece of cake. I was just eating all day. And because it was lockdown, that's all you could do. So I was just eating. And so it was one of the Sundays, obviously, when I was starving myself, that I wouldn't eat anything. I was like, is this normal? Is this really normal? Am I supposed to eat so much on a Saturday and then not eat at all on a Sunday? I know calorie in, calorie out and so on, but surely this can't be healthy. And so that's when I searched. I don't think I did search binge eating, because I don't know if that's what I thought it was, but I was like, overeat, what is overeating and stuff like that. And then obviously that's when I came on to binge eating, and I discovered a book called Brain Over Binge, which was superb for me, absolutely superb. Also discovered a personal trainer, Jordan Syatt, who'd experienced binge eating. A couple of his clients had experienced binge eating, so I was like listening to his podcasts and so on. That was the first part. It was awareness. I was like journaling about my binge eating and so on, and this was all just like during the lockdown. And then it took me a good year to stop binge eating. But the main part that I didn't really do at the start, that I should have done, the main part was set my main goal as stop binge eating. Like I said, I've always been into fitness, so I was like, oh, I want to gain muscle, or I want to get fitter, or I want to lose weight, I want to cut, I want to get six pack, blah, 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 blah. But it was only when I set my complete and utter goal, not even just fitness, my goal in life was to stop binge eating. That is when I was able to stop. Obviously, the first step was awareness, becoming what binge eating was. And then second was setting that goal. My main goal was to stop binge eating. So if anyone is listening to this, I hope you did find it interesting. Well, not interesting, but I hope you found it helpful. If you do need any help in the comments, please do comment. Let me know if you are struggling with binge eating, because I do want to help. This is what I want this channel to be. I want you to see me, a recovered binge eater, a young man who went through binge eating and is completely stopped now. And like I say, the main takeaway I think you should take is awareness, number one. Number two, set your goal to stop binge eating. And number three, don't be ashamed. I remember feeling completely ashamed that I had this binge eating disorder, that like I'm a young, healthy man, I should not be binge eating, or I shouldn't have developed binge eating, but it's a habit that we build up. We can't do anything about it. We all have bad habits, and this was just a habit that I had, that potentially you have, and don't feel alone. I hope young men come across this. If you know anyone struggling with binge eating, please do share this video with them. Let them get in touch with me. I'll be able to help them. But if anyone is suffering out there, please know you're not alone. Make sure you research the topic. Let's raise awareness on binge eating disorder. And to stop it, let's just set that goal. I'm going to have more videos coming up on how I actually did stop the binge eating disorder, what is binge eating, so on, so on. So stay in touch for more binge eating topics and so on, so I can help you. But I'm Harry Evans. I suffered from binge eating and I did recover, and so can you.